Listen closely, because what you are feeling right now is not random, not accidental, and definitely not a coincidence. Something has been stirring inside you, something subtle yet impossible to ignore. It's that quiet pull in your spirit, that rising intensity you can't quite explain, that sense that something is shifting beneath the surface of your life. And you're right, something is shifting. Something is breaking. Something is moving. And this message is the confirmation your soul has been waiting for. You've been walking through a season of delay, longer than you expected, heavier than you admitted, and quieter than you were prepared for. You've been pressing forward while feeling stuck, trying to rise while the ground beneath you felt unmoving, believing for a breakthrough even when the silence around you made no sense. And deep inside you may have wondered if something was wrong with you, if maybe you missed a step, misread a sign, or misunderstood God's timing. But hear this, with every part of your spirit, you did not miss anything. You were not late. You were not denied. You were being positioned. Heaven was not ignoring you. Heaven was aligning things around you. The delay you faced was not the enemy winning. It was God orchestrating. It was protection, preparation, and divine timing at work. And now, after all, you've waited through, prayed through, and pushed through, the atmosphere around you is shifting. You can feel it. Doors that once refused to open are beginning to loosen. Pathways that were blocked are beginning to clear. The resistance that once drained you is starting to weaken, because the season you've been stuck in is breaking open, and the one who has been silent is beginning to speak. This is the moment where movement begins. The moment where what was held back is released. The moment where what was delayed is commanded to accelerate. And if you're hearing this right now, it is because heaven is leaning toward your life with intention, urgency, and purpose. God is not just giving you a blessing, He is giving you a command. Move. Step forward. Rise. The delay is broken. Your season of waiting is shifting into a season of motion. Your standstill is shifting into momentum. Your stillness is turning into divine acceleration. And this message is the sign that your spirit was sensing long before your mind understood it. Something is breaking. Something is ending. Something is beginning. And you, yes, you are standing at the threshold of movement. And as this shift unfolds around you, something deeper is happening. Something sacred, something intentional, something guided by a hand far greater than your own. Because this moment you've stepped into isn't just emotional or circumstantial. It is divine. It is the result of a heavenly decision made long before you ever felt the pressure of the delay. What is moving in your life now is moving because God Himself has spoken over your path. There are seasons where God whispers. There are seasons where God watches. But then there are seasons, rare, powerful, destiny-altering seasons, where God issues a command, a decree, a word that cuts through the resistance, breaks the stagnation, and shifts the atmosphere around your life. And right now you are in the middle of such a moment, not because you forced it, not because you finally earned it, but because heaven has reached its appointed time concerning you. You need to understand this: delays do not end randomly. They end because the one who controls time steps into your timeline and says, enough. Release them. Move them forward. Open the way. And that is exactly what is happening right now. The invisible barriers that held you back have reached their expiration date not by accident, but by divine authority. You may not have felt God speaking in your waiting, but He was. His silence was not absence. It was orchestration. It was strategy. It was the stillness that precedes movement. And now that movement has begun. God is pulling you closer so you can understand the weight of what is unfolding. He is the one who has watched every moment of your endurance. He is the one who saw the tears you never let fall. He is the one who counted every step you took when you felt like you had nothing left. He is the one who heard the prayers you whispered when you thought no one was listening. And now, in this appointed hour, God is not only acknowledging your journey, He is responding to it. This message comes from the same God who split seas, who shook prisons open, who whispered destiny into the lives of those who thought they were forgotten. The same God who moves galaxies with His words is the one speaking movement into your life now. That's why the atmosphere around you feels different. That's why your spirit feels alert, awake, stirred. Something supernatural is aligning, and your heart can sense it even before your eyes see it. You are not stepping into a coincidence. You are stepping into a command. And the authority behind that command is not earthly. It is heavenly. It comes from the throne of God, from the one who has been directing your steps, even in the moments when it seemed like nothing was happening. He has waited for the perfect time to release this shift, not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. Now that the moment has arrived, the message is clear. Move forward. Your delay is broken. Your path is commanded to open. And as this divine decree unfolds, the prophecy behind your forward movement is ready to be revealed. What God is releasing into your life now isn't just movement for the sake of motion. It is movement with purpose, movement with direction, movement with destiny written into every step. The delay breaking over your life is not merely an ending. It is the unveiling of something heaven has been carefully preparing behind the scenes. And now the prophecy surrounding your life is beginning to rise into the light. For months, for years, you felt like you were standing at the edge of something important, something significant, something bigger than what you could explain. It felt close yet unreachable, visible in your spirit but invisible in the natural. You could sense the promise, but you couldn't quite touch it. You could feel the shift, but nothing around you seemed to move. And in that tension, it was easy to question whether you misheard, misunderstood, or misstepped. But you didn't. What you were sensing was real. What you felt pulling on your spirit was not imagination, it was revelation waiting for its appointed moment. And that moment is now. The prophecy over your life is simple yet powerful. What was stuck is about to move, and what was delayed is about to accelerate. God is pushing your life into alignment with your destiny, and nothing that once held you can continue to restrain you. You are stepping into a season where forward motion will become your new normal. Picture it: doors that resisted you suddenly unlocking without effort. Opportunities that once slipped through your hands now returning multiplied. Connections that were once silent suddenly reaching out. The ground that once felt dry suddenly bursting with life. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine orchestration. This is God commanding the winds around your life to shift in your favor. You may begin to feel an unusual boldness rise inside you, an inner push, a sudden clarity, a deep knowing that says, now. That is the Spirit of God awakening the prophecy inside you. You may notice certain things you once tolerated suddenly feel misaligned. That's because God is pulling you out of old patterns, old environments, and old versions of yourself. He is preparing you to stand in the place He has been shaping for you. This shift is not subtle. It is not gentle. It is not symbolic. It is real. When God commands movement, nothing stays still. When God declares acceleration, nothing remains slow. When God breaks delay, even time bends in your favor. You will begin to feel your life catch momentum slowly at first, like the earth trembling before an earthquake, then suddenly, like a wave rising without warning. You may find yourself stepping into opportunities you didn't chase. You may reconnect with people who left your life too early. You may stumble into divine appointments that feel almost scripted. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations of what heaven has spoken. And along with the movement, something else is being released: clarity. The confusion that clouded your vision is beginning to dissolve. The fog is lifting. The questions that haunted you will begin to make sense as the pieces come together. God is not just moving your life, He is revealing why the delay existed in the first place. The prophecy is this: you are entering a season where God is removing hindrances, realigning your steps, and accelerating your pace. You will go farther in a few months than you did in the last several years. You will gain strength you thought you lost. You will rediscover purpose you thought had faded. You will rise into a version of yourself you knew existed but could never fully reach. If you feel an inner stirring, a spiritual vibration, a rising heat in your chest as you listen, it's because your spirit recognizes the truth of what is being spoken. It knows heaven is calling you forward. It knows the breaking has begun. It knows the prophecy is unfolding. What is coming is not small. What is coming is not partial. What is coming is a divine push that will transform the entire trajectory of your life. The delay has broken. The movement has begun. And now the deeper meaning behind this divine shift is ready to be revealed. When God breaks a delay, it's never just about timing. It's never simply about moving you from one moment to another or pushing you through a stagnant season. There is always a deeper meaning, layers of spiritual purpose woven into every shift, every disruption, every acceleration. And now that movement has been commanded over your life, it's important that you understand the spiritual depth behind what is happening. Because once you see the greater picture, the journey you've walked begins to make sense in a way it never has before. Delay in the spiritual realm is often misunderstood. Many see it as denial, rejection, or punishment. But in God's hands, delay becomes something different entirely. It becomes alignment. It becomes refinement. It becomes divine preparation. When God allows you to sit in a long season of stillness, He is not abandoning your destiny. He is maturing the version of you who will walk into it. Think of your life like a journey through seasons. There are seasons of planting, seasons of waiting, seasons of pruning, seasons of testing, and seasons of harvest. You have been in the waiting season, the pruning season, the strengthening season. That is why the pressure was so intense. That is why you felt stripped of certain things, relationships, opportunities, habits, comforts. That stripping wasn't to weaken you. It was to sharpen you. To cut away everything that could not survive in the next elevation God is calling you into. Delay in your story became a classroom, a silent space where God taught you discernment, resilience, humility, and spiritual sensitivity. You learned how to hear Him without noise. You learned how to trust Him without proof. You learned how to stand without applause. And now those lessons are becoming the foundation for what He's building through you. There is a spiritual principle woven through your entire journey: movement without maturity leads to collapse. God wasn't withholding motion from you. He was protecting you from stepping into something too soon. A destiny prematurely entered becomes a burden. A blessing arrived before character forms becomes a trap. God wasn't delaying your movement. He was preparing your internal capacity so the blessing wouldn't crush you when it arrived. And now you are ready. Not perfect, not flawless, but prepared. Your spirit has been stretched. Your discernment has sharpened. Your foundation has deepened. Your endurance has strengthened. You are no longer who you were when the delay began. The breaking of delay isn't just a change in your outer world. It is a reflection of the transformation that has already taken place inside you. God moves externally only after He has moved internally. Movement begins in the heart before it manifests in your path. That is why the shift feels spiritual before it feels physical. That is why your spirit feels awakened while your circumstances are just beginning to respond. There is also profound symbolism in the timing. Throughout Scripture, God often allowed long periods of waiting before sudden moments of movement. Joseph waited in prisons and pits before being elevated in a day. David waited in fields and caves before being crowned in an instant. Israel waited in wilderness years before crossing into promise overnight. The pattern is clear. Delay is the womb of destiny. And when the birthing moment comes, everything shifts quickly. Your life is following the same divine pattern. The struggle you endured is the soil where your strength was planted. The silence you walked through is the space where your spirit learned to listen. The stillness you hated is the place where God built the depth you needed. The battles that tried to break you were the very battles that made you. Now, the spiritual meaning behind this divine movement is revealing itself. God is moving you because He has shaped you. God is accelerating you because He has prepared you. God is pushing you forward because the version of you today can handle what the old version of you could not. The breaking of the delay is not just a signal of change. It is a declaration from heaven that you have graduated from the season that once held you. You have passed the test even when you didn't know you were being tested. You endured the refining fire even when you didn't understand the purpose of the flames. You trusted in the middle of uncertainty even when clarity was nowhere to be found. And now that faith is being rewarded, this acceleration is not random. This momentum is not accidental. This movement is a divine endorsement of your readiness. What God is about to reveal in your life is the result of every quiet prayer, every tear, every moment you chose to keep going when everything in you said, "Stop." And as your path opens and motion begins, the signs of this divine shift will become clearer and clearer. Those signs are already appearing subtle, symbolic, and deeply personal. As this divine shift unfolds, you'll begin to notice signs small at first, then increasingly undeniable, confirming that the delay is truly breaking and that God is commanding movement over your life. These signs are not random sensations or coincidences. They are spiritual indicators that your atmosphere has changed, that heaven has initiated motion, and that your spirit is now aligning with what God has already spoken. Here are some of the clearest signs that the breakthrough has begun. 1. A sudden inner stirring you can't explain. You may feel an unexpected rise of energy, clarity, or urgency inside you, almost like a spiritual quickening. It doesn't come from external motivation. It comes from within, like a gentle push from the Spirit reminding you, get ready. Something is beginning. This inner stirring often arrives before any outward evidence appears, because spiritual movement precedes physical manifestation. 2. A shift in your desires and priorities. You might notice you're losing interest in things that once captivated you and gaining clarity on things that previously felt distant or confusing. Old comforts no longer satisfy you. Old habits no longer fit you. Old environments feel too small for who you're becoming. This is God preparing your heart for the new direction He's releasing. 3. Unexpected opportunities or reconnections appearing out of nowhere. Doors you forgot about may suddenly reopen. People you haven't spoken to in years may reach out. Offers that were denied before may reappear in a new form. These are divine alignments, evidence that God is orchestrating connections you couldn't strategize or force on your own. 4. Increased spiritual sensitivity. You may find yourself waking up earlier, praying more intuitively, sensing things before they happen, or feeling God's presence more strongly. This heightened awareness is not accidental. It's a sign that your spirit is tuning itself to the frequency of heaven, because something is being activated inside you. 5. a growing discomfort with stagnation. Even if your surroundings haven't changed yet, something in you refuses to stay where you are. You feel restless, but not lost. You feel uncomfortable, but not afraid. This discomfort is holy. It's heaven pulling you out of what has expired and pushing you toward what is opening. 6. Resistance suddenly intensifying before breakthrough. You may experience unexpected tension, misunderstandings, or spiritual pushback right as your shift begins. This is often the enemy reacting to the movement God has initiated. Increased resistance is not a sign to stop. It's confirmation that something is about to break. Each of these signs may appear differently in your life, but they carry a common message: God is moving you. He is guiding you through a transition you may not fully understand yet, but your spirit knows the truth. Something is unfolding, something is shifting, something is breaking open. And as these signs emerge, you may also face hidden challenges, obstacles that seem to rise out of nowhere. But do not be shaken. These challenges are not meant to stop you. They are part of the final stretch before your acceleration fully takes form. Those challenges, too, carry purpose. And as these signs begin to unfold in your life, you may notice something else happening, something subtle but deeply significant. Right when movement begins, right when the atmosphere shifts, right when your spirit starts to rise, you may encounter a series of hidden challenges. These challenges aren't punishments, nor are they signs that you've misheard God. In fact, they're confirmation that you're stepping into the final stretch of your breakthrough. When God commands movement, resistance often intensifies. Not to stop you, but to refine you. Not to discourage you, but to solidify what He has already placed inside you. Here are the challenges you may encounter in this transition. 1. Confusion appearing right before clarity. It may seem strange you've waited for direction for so long, and now that God is moving, a wave of confusion or mental fog may try to rise. This is spiritual interference. The enemy attempts to distort what God has already revealed. But confusion appearing right before clarity is a sign that breakthrough is closer than ever. The fog isn't there to derail you. It's there because you've already stepped into the zone of transformation. 2. Unexpected emotional heaviness. You might feel moments of sadness, anxiety, or emotional overwhelm without a clear reason. This is not regression. It is your spirit releasing old burdens, old identities, and old fears that cannot travel with you into the new season. You're shedding spiritual weight, letting go of the version of yourself that belonged to the delay. 3. Old temptations resurfacing. Not to trap you, but to test you. Before elevation, God allows you to see what used to break you so you can witness that it no longer has the same power. What once pulled you backward will now reveal how far you've come. 4. Relationships shifting suddenly. People may distance themselves. Conversations may feel different. Certain connections may weaken or dissolve entirely. This isn't rejection, it's divine separation. God is removing voices that would interfere with your acceleration. He is clearing the atmosphere around your life, making room for the alignment He is bringing. 5. A strange silence from places you expected support. You may find yourself feeling alone even while surrounded by others. This isn't abandonment. It's intentional isolation, where God becomes your primary source of clarity. Movement requires focus. Silence forces focus. And God is using this stillness to speak directly to you without interference. 6. Pressure increasing in multiple areas at once. This is one of the strongest indicators that your delay is breaking. When the enemy senses divine motion, he often attempts to create chaos. But this pressure is a sign, not a setback. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Oil is extracted under crushing. Breakthrough is born in the tension. What feels like everything pressing against you is actually everything pushing you forward. These challenges are not signals to stop. They are proof that you are crossing the threshold. They are the final testing of your foundation, making sure you can carry what God is releasing. If you've felt these struggles intensify, understand this. You are closer than you think. Your movement has begun. Your momentum is gathering. Your spirit is awakening. And now heaven is ready to give you divine instruction, clear, actionable steps for the season ahead. Now that you understand the signs, the meaning, and even the challenges of this transition, it's time to step into the most important part of this prophetic moment, the divine instructions for your next season. Because movement without direction leads to wandering, and God is not calling you into motion just to watch you drift. He is calling you into purposeful acceleration motion with clarity, intention, and spiritual grounding. These instructions are not suggestions. They are not optional ideas. They are sacred steps designed to prepare you for the path God is opening. Follow them with sensitivity, with reverence, and with readiness. 1. Release what no longer aligns with your next season. This is not a time to cling to what God has already removed. Some relationships, habits, thought patterns, environments, and commitments were part of the old chapter, not the new one. If something has been feeling heavy, draining, or misaligned, it is not meant to follow you into acceleration. God cannot fill hands that are holding on to expired things. Letting go is not loss, it is obedience. And obedience creates space for blessing. 2. Prioritize stillness in moments of movement. This may sound contradictory, but it is essential. As God accelerates your life, you must anchor yourself in quiet moments of communion. Stillness allows you to hear clearly. It allows you to discern the difference between divine opportunities and distractions disguised as opportunities. In seasons of acceleration, noise increases. Therefore, intentional stillness becomes your protection. What God whispers in your stillness will guide your steps in your movement. 3. Strengthen your spiritual disciplines. This is a season to pray with intention, not obligation. To read with hunger, not routine. To seek God's voice with expectation, not doubt. Your spiritual disciplines are not religious tasks. They are the oxygen of your elevation. They tune your spirit to the frequency of heaven. They guard you against spiritual interference. They keep your heart soft, your mind clear, and your steps aligned. The more God moves you, the more spiritually rooted you must become. 4. Prepare practically, not just spiritually. God is about to open doors, but you must be ready to walk through them. Movement requires preparation. If God brings a new opportunity, will you be ready? If He sends a connection, will you recognize it? If He positions you for increase, will you know how to steward it? Prepare your skills. Prepare your mindset. Prepare your environment. Prepare your habits. Faith is the foundation, but preparation is the structure that holds the blessing. 5. Guard your atmosphere fiercely. Acceleration attracts attention, both divine and demonic. Not everyone who claps for you is cheering for you. Not every voice around you deserves access to your spirit. Protect your peace. Protect your focus. Protect your energy. If a conversation drains you, limit it. If a person disrupts your clarity, distance yourself. If an environment feels spiritually heavy, don't stay there. This is a season where your atmosphere determines your altitude. Act when God stirs, not when circumstances look perfect. The breakthrough will not come wrapped in comfort. It will not wait until everything feels right. When God stirs your spirit, that is your timing. When He nudges you forward, that is your sign. You are not being called to move because circumstances are favorable. You are being called to move because heaven is giving you the command. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will miss divine timing. Move when God says move. 7. Speak life over your path. In this season, your words carry weight. Speak what God has said, not what fear suggests. Speak movement, not stagnation. Speak alignment, not confusion. Speak increase, not scarcity. Your tongue is a prophetic instrument. Your declarations shape your atmosphere. Heaven responds to word-aligned faith. What you speak in this season will frame what you walk into. Each of these instructions carries spiritual weight. Together they form the blueprint for your acceleration. They align your heart with heaven's rhythm. They prepare you to steward what God is releasing. They anchor you so the movement does not overwhelm you, but elevates you. This is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to rise. Because as you follow these divine instructions, something powerful begins to unfold. God's protection, surrounding you, guiding you, and covering every step you take. And as you step forward with these divine instructions, there is something you must know. Something that God wants deeply embedded in your spirit before the full acceleration arrives. You are not walking into this season unprotected. Every step you take, every move you make, every door you approach is being covered by divine assurance. Heaven is not sending you forward alone. Heaven is surrounding you. In seasons of movement, especially after long periods of delay, the mind can become anxious. You may wonder, what if I misstep? What if I'm attacked? What if I lose what God gives me? What if I'm not strong enough for what's coming? But hear this clearly, the God who commands movement also commands protection. He is not pushing you into exposed territory. He is guiding you into safeguarded ground. You may begin to sense this protection in ways you can't fully explain. A peace in places you once felt fear. A calm in situations that used to overwhelm you. An unshakable confidence rising inside you, even when the path ahead is unfamiliar. This peace is not human, it is divine. It is the evidence that God's hand is resting on your life. 1. God is placing a hedge around your mind. The thoughts that once spiraled into anxiety will lose their grip. The mental battles that tormented you in past seasons will begin to quiet. Where chaos once lived, clarity will rise. Your mind is being shielded from confusion, fear, and spiritual interference. God is guarding your thoughts so your faith can stay anchored. 2. God is shielding your heart from old wounds. As you step forward, past hurts may try to resurface. Old betrayals may whisper again. Doubts may attempt to echo. But God is wrapping your heart in His presence. What once broke you will no longer have the same power. What once wounded you will no longer define you. You are protected emotionally as you rise spiritually. 3. God is placing angels around your path. This season carries heavenly reinforcement. Angels assigned to your destiny are going ahead of you, clearing obstacles, blocking danger, and guiding alignment. You may feel sudden warnings, sudden urges to wait, sudden nudges to move. Those are not coincidences. They are divine indicators that you are being led step by the unseen. 4. God is covering your identity. As you accelerate, visibility may increase. Influence may grow, attention may rise. But God will not allow the enemy to distort, attack, or steal who you are. Your calling is protected. Your spirit is sealed. Your identity is fortified. Nothing formed against you will prosper, not in this season, not in this movement. 5. God is covering what you build. The opportunities He releases, the connections He brings, the progress He initiates, none of it will crumble. God is not giving you blessings that fade or platforms that fall. What He builds, He sustains. What He establishes, He guards. Your acceleration comes with endurance. Your movement comes with stability. You are not stepping forward in fear. You are stepping forward in assurance. The same God who breaks delay breaks danger. The same God who commands movement commands protection. And as this divine covering surrounds you, something beautiful is preparing to unfold your transformation, your becoming, your fulfillment. With protection surrounding you and divine instruction guiding your steps, something extraordinary begins to unfold within you. Something deeper than a change in circumstance, something greater than a shift in opportunity. What begins to rise now is transformation. Not surface transformation, not temporary change, but the kind of spiritual metamorphosis that reshapes your identity, your mindset, your posture, your presence, and your destiny. You are not merely stepping into a new season. You are stepping into a new version of yourself. For so long, you carried pieces of past battles, past wounds, past delays. You carried survival mode, uncertainty, self-doubt, emotional exhaustion, and the lingering residue of seasons that tested you. But now God is peeling those layers away, not harshly, not abruptly, but intentionally, like a master craftsman, revealing what was hidden beneath the roughness. You will begin to notice this transformation in the way you think. Where fear once whispered loudly, faith will rise boldly. Where confusion clouded you, clarity will break through like morning light. Where insecurity lived, confidence true. God-given confidence will take root. You will begin to see yourself differently, not through the lens of delay, but through the lens of destiny. You will stop identifying with the struggles you endured and start identifying with the purpose you carry. You will stop viewing yourself as someone waiting and start seeing yourself as someone becoming. This transformation will touch your emotions as well. Peace will settle where restlessness once ruled. Joy will emerge where heaviness used to linger. Hope will strengthen where doubt once drained you. Old triggers will lose their hold. Old patterns will no longer feel natural. Old fears will feel foreign. Not because you forced yourself to change, but because God changed the atmosphere around your spirit. His presence is rewriting your emotional language. Your discernment will heighten as well. You will sense things before they unfold. You will feel God's nudges more clearly. You will recognize divine alignment without second-guessing yourself. Your intuition will sharpen as heaven fine-tunes your spiritual senses. This transformation isn't just internal. It begins manifesting in your outer world too. You will notice your environment shifting. You will see your relationships rearranging. You will find yourself stepping into conversations, opportunities, and rooms that match the person you are becoming. Where you once felt overlooked, you will now be seen. Where you once felt delayed, you will now be accelerated. Where you once felt hidden, you will now be positioned. God has a way of elevating you so naturally that what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. And the fulfillment of this season doesn't simply show up in a single moment. It unfolds layer by layer like dawn breaking across the horizon. Fulfillment may look like the opportunity you thought you lost, returning better than before. The dream that felt too far, suddenly becoming reachable. The clarity you prayed for finally settling into place. The inner strength you longed for rising up within you. The door you waited for swinging open effortlessly. But fulfillment is also deeper. It is the realization that everything you walked through was not wasted. Every tear was collected. Every test was purposeful. Every delay was divine. It is knowing that the version of you standing here today is stronger, wiser, rooted steady, and spiritually awakened. You did not just survive the delay, you outgrew it. This is the season where you will see why God made you wait. This is the season where you will witness what He was preparing you for. This is the season where fulfillment begins, not fragile, not fleeting, but deeply rooted and divinely sustained. And now, as this transformation unfolds, and your spirit rises into its fullness, it is time to seal everything God has spoken with powerful affirmations and a prophetic blessing. As this message settles into your spirit, there is one final step, one final moment to seal everything God has spoken over you. Because a word like this isn't meant to simply inspire you. It's meant to transform you, to anchor in your soul, to shift your mindset, to infuse your atmosphere with faith, and to prepare you to walk boldly into the movement God has commanded. So before you step forward, take a deep breath, center yourself, open your heart, and let these affirmations become part of you, spoken with authority, declared with faith, and embraced with confidence. Affirmation 1. My delay is broken, and I move forward with divine momentum. Say it slowly. Let it rise from your spirit. You are not stuck. You are not held back. You are not waiting for life to shift. Life is shifting because God has spoken. Movement is your portion now. Affirmation 2. Every step I take is aligned, protected, and guided by God. You walk with assurance. You walk with clarity. You walk with heaven's covering over every decision, every opportunity, every path. Affirmation 3. I am becoming who God designed me to be, and nothing can stop my growth. You are not shrinking back. You are expanding spiritually, mentally, emotionally. You are stepping into identity, not insecurity, into strength, not hesitation. Affirmation 4. What God has prepared for me is already unfolding, and I am ready to receive it. This affirmation opens your spirit to fulfillment. It aligns your heart with expectation. It prepares you to embrace the very things heaven has been preparing for you all along. Let these affirmations sink deep. Repeat them daily. Speak them into the atmosphere of your home, your mind, your mornings, your nights. Because what you declare, you attract. And what you speak in faith becomes the foundation of what you walk into. Now receive this blessing spoken over your life with prophetic authority and divine peace. May the God who breaks delay break every chain that once held you back. May He go before you and clear the path that once resisted your steps. May His presence surround you, strengthen you, and steady you as you rise. May every door that belongs to you open effortlessly. And may every door not meant for you close without confusion. May your spirit be bold, your mind be clear, your heart be whole, and your steps be anointed. May you move with confidence, protected by heaven, guided by purpose, and empowered by destiny. You are stepping into a new chapter, one marked by movement, alignment, fulfillment, and divine acceleration. The delay that held you is gone. The season that shaped you is complete. The future God prepared for you is unfolding now. Walk in it, rise in it, believe in it, and step forward knowing this truth: God has commanded your movement, and nothing can stop what He has begun.